I'm Danica. Welcome back to my channel. It is Tuesday, December 1st, which means it is the last month of 2020. One of the weirdest years of my life, for sure, and I think for many of us. I'm in Hong Kong still. Over the past few days, Hong Kong has started its fourth wave, which means over the past 7 days, we are averaging, I believe the number is 87 infections per day, which sounds low for a lot of other big cities, but is really, really high for Hong Kong because we had reached 0 to, single digit infections over the course of many, many months. So the city has gone into a semi sort of lockdown, but just very, very strict social distancing, which also means that our office is working from home, which is great, really, really important for health and wellness and public health and all that stuff. It's a little bit sad because these are my last 2 weeks in the Hong Kong office, and so I was hoping to be able to see my team and spend some time with them, but obviously because of the situation, we are spending as much time just, on our own as possible. I think, there's no strict lockdown, so stores are still open and restaurants are still open. It is limited to 2 people per table at restaurants, and operation hours are limited. But yeah, we're just trying to stay as socially distant as possible to mitigate the potential spread of anything that could be in the air or transmitted person to person. So I have a call today at 10 o'clock, so I have a conference call. All of our meetings have moved to Zoom, which is great. I guess, if anything, in 2020, I think a lot of us have started to become really, really good at using teleconferencing tools. Before then, though, I think I might go get a coffee. It's a beautiful day outside, and there is actually a cargo ship going by. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm gonna show you guys. I got something new, actually, I wanted to show you. I bought this during the Black Friday sale at Lululemon. It is a puffy vest, and I love it so much. It is, what I love about it? It's that it's not really cropped, but it's I don't know if it looks very good with this big t-shirt I have on. It is so cozy, and I love that it has this high collar. You put your hands in it, and I just feel very, very cozy in it, and I love it. I actually have gotten really into vests over the past couple of years. I've been starting to pack to leave Hong Kong, but I bought this last year, and I think I might wear this to get coffee. This I got from Aviator Nation, which I love. It is rainbowy, it has this 70s vibe, and it has a little fuzzy, I don't think that's real sheepskin. I think it's fleece. So it's a fleecy hood on the inside. But I love it. It's perfect for Hong Kong because I guess in Hong Kong it gets cold for 2 weeks in January, but right now it's beautiful outside, and it's 65, so it's still not too cold, and it's December already. So anyway, let's go get a coffee. You guys, I can't believe it's December. I can believe it's December. What a weird year it's been. But it's the end of 2020, and I've never done this before. Why would I have? But I think I'm gonna try to do Vlogmas this December. But a lot of it is selfish because I'm leaving Hong Kong in a couple of weeks, and I want to actually just capture as much of normal everyday life as possible in Hong Kong. For me, that has been the most interesting part about living in Hong Kong. You sort of do all the tourist stuff and all the sites, and you see all the malls and attractions pretty early on here. It's a city, and so there's there's a lot to explore, but because we've just been here pretty solidly here for the past year, I've done all the attractions, and you don't really need to do the attractions more than once or twice, except for Disneyland, which I'll keep on going to forever. But Disneyland and Ocean Park, the theme parks, actually have to close down again in this lockdown. So Disneyland is closed on Tuesdays and Thursdays during this time, and then they officially have to close again tomorrow because of the new social distancing rules. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'll be able to go back to Hong Kong Disneyland again before I leave Hong Kong, which is really sad because I really, really like it. And I, of course, like, I love, I love the rides, I love the feeling, and I love the music, and I love the way, and I didn't get to go to the new castle ever. Like, they opened, I guess, a week and a half ago, and I just haven't had a chance to go. So it's disappointing, but I'm glad I got to go to Disneyland so many times over the past year and a half, like, while I've had my annual pass. And I'm really, really glad I got to do that staycation at the Adventure Suite. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it below. So, yeah, so part of my reason for wanting to do Vlogmas is to capture as much of, like, my normal everyday life here as possible, because otherwise I find, like, it's so hard to remember. I've been really lucky, since I graduated from college, where I've been able to, like, live in a lot of places and, like, travel a lot. And I find that taking photos and, like, posting Instagrams, and even, like, I print out a lot of photos because I'm, like, so nervous that they won't know where I put my digital photos and I won't be able to find them one day. But even that doesn't really capture the feeling of being somewhere. And I know, like, video can't entirely capture the feeling of being somewhere, but over the past couple of years, I love looking back at the videos I have taken at places that I've been. And even if, like, no one watches the videos, like, for me, it's such a good memento of that, like, moment. And when you hear the sounds, and, like, when I, like, even just, like, panning around a room, or, like, I don't know, when I watch those videos back, it makes me really happy, and it reminds me of how I felt at that moment. Especially now, like, this year of not being able to travel, I actually go back and I've watched a bunch of my, like, Aspen videos, and I was so lucky to, like, spend, like, so much time in Aspen for festivals and for trips and for things like that, and I just love that town so much. So just seeing things that I've done in the outdoors, like going through Canada, through the Canadian Rockies, or, all that stuff, just, it makes me remember, like, the good times, or, like, it sounds so sad to say, but it reminds me of, like, better times. And then I also feel, like, a lot of gratitude for the fact that I was able to travel, especially with my job. Like that travel was built into my work for so many years before this year. And I feel so lucky that I got to see so much of America over the past 10 years because of the work I was in, and because of the opportunities I had to, like, do stories and, like, work with brands and stuff like that. So yeah, I tell people that a lot about media, especially people who are just starting out or junior people on my team. This is such a rewarding career. Working in media has been such, like, a life-defining career for me, because even though it doesn't pay, like, that great, like, you're never gonna get rich being an employee of a media company, unless you work for, like, a Silicon Valley company maybe. But the opportunities it extends you is, like, above and beyond any office job that I can think of. It's been so great, and I feel so lucky that I wound up in this career, which is something I never even knew was a possibility when I was growing up. When I was growing up, I thought the only jobs, growing up in the 80s and 90s, I really felt like the only jobs were, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could be, like, a nurse, you could be a teacher, you could be a professor, although I, like, wasn't super sure when I was a kid what a professor was. I just thought it was, like, it's like, you think it's like a teacher for older kids. And, or you could be a businessman or a business person. And coming from a first-generation family, the first-generation immigrant family in the US, I always felt like being a business person, we saw people in the 80s and 90s, and we had friends and acquaintances who had done really well in business, but we also knew people who had done really badly in business. And as a kid, seeing that, it just felt like something that was undefined and also a very big risk. So I always thought that my job would be something that was very, very straightforward, like a professional job, like doctor, lawyer, maybe accountant, teacher, something like that. And it wasn't until the internet was invented in the 90s that my job as it exists now existed. And it wasn't even until the late 2000s, early 2000s, so like 2005, 2006, 2007, where being a media person who worked entirely online even became a true possibility. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you feel like you don't know where your career is going or what you want to do with your life, I mean, your life is not your career, but like, you know, you spend like 8 to 10 hours a day doing your job for most of your life if you work for someone else, don't worry, because opportunities will come along as the world changes, as media evolves, as technology evolves, and the possibilities for your career in the next 5-10 years could be things that are not even invented now. Because yeah, if you asked me in high school what I wanted to be, I would have said like, I'm going to be a doctor. But the truth is I was really bad at science, but I did know that there were some things I was good at, and those things that I was good at, which is talking and then also like explaining things to people, taking difficult concepts and making them concise and palatable to people, and explaining things to individuals, or trying to find ways to explain things to individuals in ways that relate to their lives so they would understand things better. I always sort of knew that I was able to do that, and I'm really, really glad that I was able to translate that into a job and a career. And here we are, like 25 years after I graduated from high school, and I'm working in an industry that didn't even exist when I was 18, which is totally wild to think about. Anyway, I'm gonna have my coffee. I have to put together some data sets and stuff before my 10 a.m. conference call. But yeah, today is going to be a day in the life of just, you know, whatever. I guess that's what Vlogmas is. Let's see how this month goes. We'll try to hit every single day in December. And yeah, I hope you stick with me on this adventure. Okay, first call of the day done. I have another call in 20 minutes, but I'm so hungry, so I think I'm gonna eat a yogurt. For breakfast a lot is I buy this is like my favorite kind of Greek yogurt. It's the authentic Greek yogurt from Marks and Spencer, and it's so good. They also have a fat-free smaller cup of 0% fat Greek yogurt, but that one is like a little bit thinner in texture. This one is, as it says on the box, it says rich and creamy, and it actually is. It's so, I think it says traditional strange Greek yogurt. I don't actually know like what the manufacturing difference is, but this one is a lot richer in texture, and I really, really like it. And then I take it and I mix it with protein powder. So this is the Ghost cereal milk protein powder, and so between these two things I get something like 30 grams of protein in about this is 116 calories and this is 130 calories, so in 246 calories I get about 30 grams of protein, which is, I think it's pretty great. So yeah, so I'm gonna do that. The Ghost I had to order all the way from the US, and I had to get it sent to like a mailing address in Florida that then like FedExed it to me in Hong Kong. So I'm just focusing on finishing up all of my supplements and all my proteins before I leave Hong Kong in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna have a little bit of this for breakfast and then jump on another conference call. Working from home is it's both like convenient, but also I do miss like the interaction with my colleagues, because They're fun people. I've also started to pack, so there's like a mess of stuff like all over my floor. Like when I pack, I like do this thing where I just take everything out so I can see everything. So I think that this is like a bag of bags, and then this is what I opened this morning, and I found like a ton of like my winter jackets and puffy things. It's just starting to get cold in Hong Kong, so this is so useful to find. I love like fleecy things, so I found my Nike fleece, and there's like a puffy coat there and a scarf and stuff. So I'm gonna start packing over the next week or so. Okay, I've had a very, very long conference call. What a fun day, huh? Just conference calls, sitting in my room. And now I'm gonna eat some lunch. It's pretty late. It's like almost 2 o'clock, so I'm super hungry. Thank goodness I had that yogurt and protein powder concoction this morning. But this is what I usually do. I go to Marks and Spencer and I buy cooked chicken, because you know, I don't have a kitchen right now, but so I bought roast chicken, and I buy thighs because for a long time I was trying to eat chicken breast, and that's sure, like, you can do that if you're like if you're like seriously cutting. I could do it a little bit in the beginning, but then you do like, it's not as good unless you like smother it in something. I used to do this thing where I literally bought like skinless chicken breasts, and I would like rip it up and like dip it in ranch powder. Like apparently so I bought the Hidden Valley Ranch powder, which has like no fat and like not that many calories, and I guess the fat all comes from like the buttermilk or whatever you're adding to it to make it that delicious creamy texture. But the powder itself is not actually that bad for you. I mean, it's not made of like all natural ingredients or anything, but I would literally take the roast chicken and like dip it in the ranch powder, which not like really recommend to anyone. So my life has been greatly improved by literally just buying roast chicken thighs. I take the skin off and I eat it, and then because I'm like actually just too lazy to put everything into a bowl, I'm just gonna eat the salad. I buy the Rosa Verde salad from Marks and Spencer, and I'm just gonna eat it out of the bag like and pretend it's chips. Okay, I've decided it's time for coffee number 2. I brought a bag so I can also buy snacks. But I have about an hour until my next call, so heading out for a short break. Okay, I ended up not getting a snack, but I did get a coffee. I do think I probably consumed too much, like way too much caffeine in one day, but I just get really tired because I wake up so early. But I also go to bed early, so I think it's a balance. I think it's okay. Although today my Oura ring gave me a score of like 70 on my sleep, and it said, "You'll be okay." Like what a sentiment. It's like so 2020. You'll be okay. I didn't go all the way to Starbucks. I just went to Pacific Coffee, which is, it's fine. It depends on like what their coffee of the day is, and if it's Colombian, I'll usually get it, and it's fine. Sometimes it can be a little bit acidic for me, so to be fair, like Starbucks coffee of the day sometimes tastes a little burnt, depending on what it is. Yeah, I didn't get a snack. I will regret it later, but then also maybe I won't, because then I can eat a bigger dinner and not feel like so full, like when I'm trying to go to sleep. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. I have another call in about an hour, and then I have another call after that. It's so hard actually working from home, and I know like everyone watching this probably, I don't know if you share the same feeling, but I actually really like being in an office and being in a collaborative environment. So that's why I feel so lucky that in Hong Kong we haven't really had that many work from home days over the past year. There have been like a week here and there where we've given people the option to work from home to avoid commuting. And I think that is actually the hardest part of living in a city, because when you use mass transit and you have to be packed into like buses and subways and stuff like that, that's when people feel like the most nervous about virus transmission and stuff like that. In my office, I have an office where I can close the door, but recently I started sharing the office with two of my direct reports because we have so many people on my team now, which is such a great problem to have, but we sort of ran out. We were short 2 desks. So the solution was, I love sharing an office space because for me, the whole point of having a great team is to be super collaborative and to be able to ask each other questions all the time, which is exactly what makes working from home extremely challenging, especially I think for editorial teams and digital teams where you're not just collaborating on ideas and stories and putting a magazine together, but you're also, shooting ideas back and forth and bouncing things around, looking for feedback because you need input from the growth team or the data team or from the social media director and stuff like that. So that's a little hard, and trying to organize these Zoom calls is a lot less efficient than, say, just turning around and being hey Sherry, what is the SEO value of this, and should we do this or that, and what time is this newsletter going out, or talking to my social media director Sam about what do we think would be most effective in terms of amplifying this particular campaign or this particular story. So it's a little tricky. I haven't tried Zoom's phone call functionality yet. What that sounds just a lot like Skype. I was never a big Skype user. I think I was a little bit too young for Skype when Skype was first big. I do notice that people have been using Skype for their live streaming, which I think is really interesting, and I sort of want to look into that. The quality seems a little bit different, and the options seem like you have a few more different options than you do when you live stream through Zoom. So yeah, I want to look into that. So many things. Anyway, so gonna have my coffee, gonna have some more calls. That's where I am right now. Hope you're having an interesting day. All right, more later. Okay, I finally finished my last conference call of the day, and now I'm so hungry, but it's only 5:30, so I don't know what to do. I might go eat something at 6 when the restaurants open again. A lot of restaurants in Hong Kong are closed between 3 and 6 for in between service. So I have some other things to tie up, some emails to answer and stuff like that. And yeah, then I'm gonna eat something and probably have an early night because I have to go to the gym tomorrow morning at 6:30. So let's see how the day plays out, or the evening. It's already starting to get dark, so that's why I pulled the curtains shut, and now I'm just artificial light.
But I wanted to do a workout that reminded me of a really intense berries.
Okay, so I ordered takeout instead, and we got about 20 minutes until it gets here. I'm so hungry.
This year. Also, in the second back sleeve here.
For dinner, I got some sundubu, so tofu stew. I'm gonna eat half of this rice, and then I got kimchi. Oh, there's kimchi on my hand. And I got a little thing of jjajangmyeon, so maybe more carbs than I should be eating today, but I haven't really had any carbs today, so I think this is okay. Okay, you guys, that's it for my day. It's what time is it? It's 7 p.m. and this always happens to me. I don't know if this happens to you, but I go to bed really early. I go to bed at 8:30 or 9:30 sometimes if I'm really pushing it, 10. Once a month I'll go to bed at midnight or 1 a.m. But usually I go to bed really early. And this is because I wake up really early because I train 3 times a week at 6 or 6:30. Anyway, it's a habit I'm trying to get myself into. I think it's a good habit for me, and I feel so much better during the day. I feel productive during the day. So right around now at 7 p.m. I start looking at the clock every half hour, being can I go to bed now? Can I go to bed now? What's reasonable? What's not embarrassing? So that's what I'm starting to do. And of course I've eaten dinner, and so now I'm I feel good, I feel full, I feel calm, I feel a little sleepy. Yeah. So that's my day. I still have some emails to answer and some things I need to look through and respond to before I can really end my day. But what I'm gonna do is take it easy. I have tomorrow off. I took it off at our company. the month of your birthday, you get like one free floating birthday holiday. So I took it tomorrow, even though my birthday is not for a few weeks. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I think tomorrow I might have to run some errands. So yeah, so that's Vlogmas day 1. More tomorrow. I'm kind of excited. It's kind of fun, especially during lockdown when there's like no one to really talk to. So it's fun to talk to you guys. I hope you're having a good day, good week, good month, wherever you are. Hope you're staying safe and healthy. If you are in lockdown or if you are social distancing, I hope you are finding like healthy ways to like keep yourself, you know, like feeling good and you know, just, you know, healthy inside and outside. Okay, that's all. I will see you guys tomorrow.